Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So huge news about Supergirl Season 2. So we have a whole bunch of Superman stuff to talk about, but they just teased a new character they're bringing on that connects them to the Justice League Batman v Superman universe. So I'll explain what's going on, but it's like Flash newspaper level big. So most of you have probably seen at least one version of Metallo on screen. He's been in the TV shows, he's been in the animated series. So far, the movies have not done a version of him, but when you're talking about the actual Metallo character, he's just like one of the stable of Superman's most classic villains, because John Corbin himself is such an interesting character, and because he's human who's turned into this machine, he's a lot more compelling. So it's just a lot of fun for writers to use him. And from the pictures from the set, we can see Superman's going to be wearing a special variation on his costume that will help him handle Metallo, just because the big twist of Metallo's powers is that he has multiple different types of kryptonite in his chest. So it's like during the Flash Season 2 when Barry was trying to fight against the Turtle. So, someone who absorbed his kinetic energy. So there's like a whole lot of stuff going on here. One, this is actually taking place in what looks like Metropolis. That's right, Supergirl Season 2 will go to Metropolis. It's doing a whole bunch of Superman stuff, which is actually probably the biggest news. Like, we know that Superman's going to be in the first 2 episodes, so that's probably what all this is taken from. Like a big classic Superman adventure with a really classic Superman villain. But going forward, this kind of lets you know, like, if they can go to Metropolis, they can do Superman, they can do some of Superman's biggest villains. What else can the TV shows do? And the answer is probably most things. Like, this just makes it seem like the door is wide open for them to tell whatever awesome story they want without having to worry about whether or not a character is okay to do. Which I think is one of the problems with Supergirl Season 1, is that there was like so much stuff that they couldn't do. Maxwell Lord is an interesting character, but the way they were using him in Season 1 was basically as their stand-in for Lex Luthor. Like, we can't do Lex Luthor, so we're going to do a slightly different version of him. Remember all the cool stuff that Maxwell Lord could do in the comics? How he's one of the most powerful telepaths on the Earth? We're not going to do any of that stuff. So now in Season 2, now that we're on the CW, we're doing a big 4-night crossover, we have Superman. That just lets you know that they are not shackled by any of those storytelling restrictions anymore. So I'm just so happy about the potential that they have. Now, they haven't officially confirmed all the villains they're bringing on, but actually on Thursday next week, the CW is having its big TCAs panel where it explains to television critics some of the stuff that it's doing with the new shows. So what I'm expecting is they'll be talking about what's going on in the Flash Season 3 with Flashpoint. They'll probably explain that 4-night crossover a little bit better, how that's going to work, and they'll explain what is going to be different about Supergirl Season 2 this season. But you've kind of already seen it with all these Superman pictures. Like, you have Stephen Amell here, Green Arrow, standing next to Superman, looking like they just double parked the invisible jet because they're late to a baseball game. And on top of that, for those of you that are big fans of the Merlin series, Katie McGrath played Morgan Le Fay. She's going to be coming on Season 2 as Lena Luthor. So the Luthor family does exist in the Supergirl universe. I mean, we kind of knew it did, but because previously movie stuff was off limits, it was just a big question mark. The description of her character will blow your mind a little bit too. It says she comes to National City fresh on the heels of her brother Lex Luthor's incarceration. So you're like, wait a minute. Wait, are they talking about Batman v Superman? Lex Luthor in prison? Oh my god, everything is connected. Don't jump the gun on that, but they are winking at that big time. It just says that the Lena Luthor character isn't going to be like a total bitch to Kara. She's going to try and rebrand Luthor Corp and try and do good things. But as we know about the history between the Luthor family, Luthor Corp, and Superman, things will probably not go according to plan. So at this point, there's so much stuff happening, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more Wayne Corp Easter eggs. I know everybody always points to that Flash newspaper, like Wayne Industries, Wayne Corp merger. To be honest about that, when they first did that in the Flash pilot, it was a joke. They were not setting anything up. They're like, we'll never be able to do this. Haha, just kind of laughing at each other. But it just goes to show that there's no way to predict about how things changing behind the scenes can affect what they can do on the TV shows. So if we can do Luthor's, we can do Superman, we can probably do Batman at some time in the near future. So I'm expecting a whole bunch of news to drop next week, but I know a lot of you are asking what's going on with Superman later this season. Is he going to come back more often? Is he going to cross over during the 4-night crossover? Like, will we actually see Green Arrow on screen with Superman? I'm not expecting it, but it's always possible. What I think is going to happen with Superman this season on Supergirl is they said that he's an important part of Kara's story. He's going to be butting heads with her a lot, or Kara's going to be butting heads with him. But this is Kara's sophomore year as Supergirl, so she's still kind of derping. She's trying to figure things out, what it means to be a superhero, superhero, what's the best way to go about saving people. Superman has his own thesis of what a superhero should be, how they should act. Kara's will be slightly different from that, so a lot of their conflict will be around that, but he's still going to be something of a mentor to her. So because he's not a series regular, what I'm expecting is that we'll see him in the first couple of episodes. He might come back around the mid-season finale, and then a couple times in the back half of the season, so appearing in slightly less than half of the episodes, so anywhere between like 6 and 8 episodes this season, of 20 total. There are 20 episodes total. But the real big question is crossover. I don't know about the Fortnite crossover because they said that Supergirl is going to lead the charge, so they might say something different at the press conference next week, but it sounds like she's going to be the only one from the Supergirl TV show to jump from show to show. Maybe Martian Manhunter too. So I know a lot of you are confused about the person in the capsule that looks like it might be the TV show's version of Superboy, like the Mon-El version of the character. So he sounds like he's going to be more of a series regular, like a person you see every single week. So in terms of the Kryptonian dynamic on the show, just expect there to be more awesome Kryptonian characters, namely among them Superman. And I will say, like if Superman doesn't cross over a lot with the other TV shows this year, that will probably change in future years. So in related news, kind of the same thing is happening with Legends of Tomorrow. Like they just tweeted this image, they're going full-blown Justice Society, they're doing Legion of Doom. That's actually even more comic book than doing Justice Society. Justice Society, huge comic book team, but Legion of Doom is a super deep cut because they came from the Super Friends. The Legion of Doom didn't originate in the comics. It actually started on that old cartoon show in the Darth Vader helmet, then made its way into the comics. So I was just so happy when I saw all of these things start dropping around Comic-Con. Like we got Superman back, we got crazy Darth Vader team up led by the Reverse Flash. It's like if somebody were just going down your checklist of all the things you would want from a TV show when you're a little kid. Like, okay, I want the Reverse Flash, I want the Legion of Doom, I want a big villain team up, I want to see a big superhero team up, I want to see Superman kicking a bunch of ass, and I want to see all these superheroes cross over during the same week. So in celebration, I'll say congratulations to Haroon Farang. You win this week's giveaway. It's a $20 Amazon gift card. Be sure to private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. But I will say, new round of the giveaway starts now. There's still a bunch of Suicide Squad videos that I want to make, like an Easter egg video, and a bunch of other stuff about the sequels that I think they're going to be doing. There's new Game of Thrones stuff that's happening next week, and there's some really cool Luke Cage stuff that I want to post. So those will be the next videos that I'm working on. I'm also trying to play through Batman Telltale, so there'll probably be some Batman Telltale gameplay videos in the next couple days too. While you guys wait for my next video to post, you can click here for my non-spoilery Suicide Squad review. Be sure to go see the movie this weekend. And you can click here to learn more about what the Reverse Flash has been saying about Flash Season 3 Flashpoint stuff. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. Big Justice League high five. I'll see you guys tonight.